Hey there, Simpsons fans. My name is Matt Selman, and I'm the showrunner of The Simpsons. I'm standing here with David Silverman, who directed the very first episode of The Simpsons, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire.
We are so old.
Yeah. This is indeed a disturbing universe.
I'd just like to say thanks to those of you who recently subscribed to my channel after watching my video about The Simpsons roasting on an open fire. Most of you have probably already noticed that Disney Plus made that episode free to watch on YouTube, and the version they uploaded starts off with an introduction from Matt Selman and David Silverman. And holy cow, would you take a look at these guys? David Silverman looks like Santa Claus. He's totally unrecognizable. Just take a look at this footage of him from 1990. And I always thought Matt Selman was younger than me, but he looks like he's pushing 60. This is how I remember him. And that's the name he gave that costume, not me. I'm just displaying it for the sake of accuracy. At any rate, I just wanted to make this video so that I could point out that Disney has failed yet again. They posted The Simpsons roasting on an open fire, free to watch for everyone, which is great, but they not only stretched the picture, they cropped it as well. So it just fills me with nausea and claustrophobia. Thanks anyway, Disney, I'll just stick with the DVD version. And hey, if you're one of those people who prefers your old box TV shows cropped into a rectangle, I've got no problem with you. You're entitled to your opinion. But if Disney had just left it in the shape of a box without cropping it, as the viewer you can just zoom in and crop it yourself, which would leave both options available. But if they crop it and stretch it, you're just stuck with it the way it is. And Disney is well aware that geriatric elderly Simpson fans like myself do not enjoy cropping and stretching. Disney does that because they hate us. And that's fine, because I hate Disney right back. The main reason I hate Disney is because Disney is the height of mediocrity. All they do is buy up other IPs and then make them as bland and toothless as possible. And that's without focusing on Disney's political woke agenda at all. But I think it's important to mention that if you're working for Disney, you have no choice but to be woke. It's part of your job description. You don't just work for Disney. Disney owns you, and apparently Matt Selman is now the showrunner. So I guess Al Jean finally stepped down, and I definitely think Matt Selman is a much better choice for showrunner. The trouble is, I have no eyes or ears for Disney Simpsons. In fact, the Simpsons have always been the antithesis of Disney.
I'm the mascot of an evil corporation. Get down from there.
So I don't have any idea who would want to watch Disney Simpsons. But hey, if that's what you're into, I've got no problem with you. But if you're like this person I found in my comment section, and you don't understand why I would refer to the Simpsons writers as having liberal brain rot, then I just don't know how to help you. But I can show you an advanced clip from an upcoming video that I made. It just hasn't been published yet. It comes from the video I made on the Telltale Head, and it explains one of many reasons the Simpsons writers indeed have liberal brain rot. Here it is.
Okay. Now don't you kids take anything. I'm watching you. I've got eyes in the back of my head.
Here's the first appearance of Apu, and the funny story is that when we were writing it, we thought, well, we really shouldn't make him ethnic. It might offend some people.
And yet no one was offended for decades. In fact, Apu Nahasapeemapetalon was one of the most beloved characters on The Simpsons for years. But then millennials were invented. And if you thought the baby boomers were easily offended, you haven't seen shit.
And when we had the table read, Hank Azaria, who plays Apu, gave the guy the accent, and it got such a huge laugh that, of course, we made him what turned out to be Pakistani.
So when this commentary was recorded back in 2001, it was considered very polite of Al Jean to give credit to Hank Azaria for coming up with the voice of Apu on his own. But after some woke millennial made this documentary called The Problem with Apu, The Simpsons' initial response was basically, "You're too sensitive. Get over it."
What am I supposed to do?
It's hard to say. Something that started decades ago and was applauded and inoffensive is now politically incorrect. What can you do?
Some things will be dealt with at a later date.
If at all.
But then Hank Azaria went on the Stephen Colbert Show and did the wokest apology I've ever seen.
I think that if anybody came away from that segment feeling that they should lighten up or take a joke better or grow a thicker skin or
that's
toughen
what people
up,
said, we've heard what you said and we're not going to respond.
Yeah, that's certainly not the way I feel about it, and that's definitely not the message that I want to send.
Well, what do you think should happen with the character going forward?
Yeah, I've given this a lot of thought, really a lot of thought. You know, I'm perfectly willing and happy to step aside or help transition it into something new.
Then Al Jean and Mike Reiss started pointing their fingers back at Hank, saying he's the one who came up with the voice. Now it's no longer about giving someone credit, it's about blaming someone. And apparently Hank knows how to play that game too, because he blamed Sam Simon, a dead guy who can't even defend himself. What a pathetic loser Hank Azaria is. And Al Jean and Mike Reiss aren't much better, but at least the show had the correct initial response. They just didn't know how to react when Hank Azaria sold them all out. And I'm not sure why this is such a big deal anyway. I'm pretty sure that all these libtards voted for this asshole.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
So that's only a short clip from the 8th video in this series, but I think it's also important to mention that The Simpsons writers and producers also changed out all the voice actors for every black and brown character in the show. They all have to be race accurate now. If that's not liberal brain constipation, then I don't know what is. At any rate, I just wanted to say hello to my new subscribers, and I wanted to tell you all that I have more coming. The video I made for Bart the Genius will be published on Sunday, and there should be another video each Sunday for several weeks. So I hope to see you again very soon.